A movie about strippers, but not about stripping. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. Today we are talking about the new Jennifer Lopez, Constance Wu movie, Hustlers. Don't know why I paused just there. Kind of had a little brain fart, and I feel like I wear this jacket a lot, but that's beside the point. We're going to talk about this movie, Hustlers, today, and oh my gosh, surprise! Like, this is probably going to be a very quick review because there's a lot. I will say up front, I had a great time. I really enjoyed myself. If you are worried about this being a movie with a lot of stripping and nudity, there's not a whole lot, but it is rated R for a reason. At the beginning, there is a lot of nudity because that is when Constance Wu's character of Dorothy / Destiny is getting into the strip club that she starts working at, where she meets Jennifer Lopez's character of Ramona, and where everything kind of starts. So you do get a little bit of a behind the scenes of that. So you are going to see some naked ladies at the beginning of this film, or should I say, like, mostly naked. It's fairly tasteful, and it does portray the pole dance, the art of pole dance, as a beautiful art form, at least the way Jennifer Lopez does it. She is so graceful and it's amazing, and you're just like, wow. And when she does that first pole dance, you feel the exact same way that Constance Wu feels when you see her watching. The cut-betweens of Jennifer Lopez dancing and the awe on Constance Wu's face, and also the realization of how she can manipulate Ramona to take her under her wing. It's superb. It's very well done. It reminded me a lot of a very specific movie that, if you know me well, you will probably know that it is. I love this movie a lot. I love the director a lot, but I will get to that in a second. You definitely see, like, let's back up and rewind for a second. The way that they introduce characters in this, the way that they show character motivation in this, the way that the characters are written is so great. It's such a great film. I believe it is directed by a female, but I know it is written by a female. I'm not holding that against movies written about women by males, because there are some great ones, but it was based on an article written by a female, about females, narrated by a female, kind of, well, told through the females, and it's written, the film is written by a female, and it's so well crafted and so well done, and I was very, very surprised about that, and I'm very, very happy about that. It is just chef's kiss. So great. But yes, again, from where I was, when Constance Wu's character Dorothy first sees Ramona, you just see this look of awe on her face at how confident this woman holds herself, how graceful this woman is, and she knows that Ramona is a woman of power, and that she herself, Dorothy, can use Ramona to help her get to where she wants to go. Yes, I think at the beginning, Dorothy was trying to use Ramona to get where she wanted, but they ended up becoming friends, and this whole film is about their friendship and the falling apart of their friendship. Slight spoilers. Also, Cardi B, Lizzo, a lot of these other big celebrities that they had kind of talked about being in this aren't in this that much. At least Lizzo and Cardi B. I really, really, really could have used a lot more Lizzo, especially with that flute solo, man. She's so great. But we did get a lot of Lily Reinhart and Keke Palmer, because they make up the core group along with Constance Wu and Jennifer Lopez. And speaking of Constance Wu and Jennifer Lopez, again, they are fantastic. This is probably my favorite performance of Jennifer Lopez's since seeing her in Selena when I was in middle school. I absolutely love Selena. That's like peak, like, I love J-Lo. Let's not get me wrong, but I feel like she will never get better at acting than when she was Selena, except for this one. I don't think this tops Selena, but it's still, like, a great performance. She killed it. She had no right to do as great of a job as she did, because if you just think about this movie on paper, it doesn't seem like it'll be that great. It is truly an amazing film, and I attribute that to the writer, the director, and of course, the amazing woman who acted in this. Constance Wu, she did an emotional performance, especially in the kind of, not flashback scenes, but the scenes that lead to the narration, which I will talk about in a second. Julia Stiles, she was okay. I mean, she wasn't in it a whole lot. She didn't really have that big of a role besides, like, the fact that she was the person who kind of wrote this whole article, or she was portraying the woman who wrote the article. I mean, she was Julia Stiles. I don't think she really had much to do. Keke Palmer, it was weird seeing her in this because I used to watch Keke Palmer when she was on the Disney Channel, because yes, I watched the Disney Channel way longer than I should have. And Lily Reinhart, was great to see her in something other than Riverdale, and she was probably the great comedic relief of this film for me, because she just could not hold her stomach the entire time. She kept throwing up, and it was really funny because she never understood why, and she would always apologize, and she just did a really, really great job. And now, the movie that I have been hinting at the entire time is Goodfellas.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
This movie took a lot of inspiration from Goodfellas. I say that as someone who absolutely loves the film Goodfellas and actually really, really enjoyed this film. I say that in a loving way, and I say that in a very happy way, because there was a movie that I watched earlier this year that I never ended up doing a video on. I plan to do a video, I have notes on it, and maybe I'll do it on Patreon sometime. I watched the Melissa McCarthy, and who else was in that? There were some other people in that movie, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be really great. It's gonna be the female Godfather. It's gonna be the female Godfather. And it wasn't. You could definitely see it trying to be the female Godfather, but it didn't quite hit the mark. But this one was definitely the female Goodfellas. It did it in such a loving way. It did it in such a great homage to one of Martin Scorsese's greatest works of art. Actually, it is Martin Scorsese's greatest work of art. I love that film. It is my second favorite Martin Scorsese film of all time. Also doing a podcast on it in a couple weeks. Just keep on the lookout. Subscribe to The Nostalgia Effect anywhere you get your podcasts. But anyways, Godfather is great. That's not what I'm talking about. Goodfellas. I have a laundry list of ways that this movie subtly hinted at, or even like just overtly hinted at and overtly paid homage to the great Goodfellas. There is the narration.
Even before I first wandered into the cab stand for an after-school job, I knew I wanted to be a part of them.
It's not the same Henry Hill narration, but Constance Wu is definitely the Henry Hill character in this. And J-Lo is definitely the Robert De Niro, James Conway character, because she's kind of like the ringleader, the godmother of the entire operation. And also narration from the cuts back and forth between the telling of the story and then to like the present tense, where the character is talking to, in Goodfellas, the FBI agents, in Hustlers, the reporter. There is also the slow motion. It's not used in the exact same way that Scorsese uses it, because Scorsese uses it at points of, well, you know what? Now that I think about it, they use it more often than Scorsese does, but a lot of the time it is used at the same moments in time. A lot of what Scorsese uses slow motion for in pretty much every single one of his films is as a turning point for the main character or whoever's character point of view it is at the moment. In Goodfellas, it is when Henry gives Karen the gun. It's a point of turning for her when Karen first realizes what her husband does for a living, what he's capable of, and what her life is going to be like. She is just realizing what can actually happen. And I love that. It's just a great, great turning point. And the scene that really stands out to me using this slow motion realization turning point for the character moment is the scene I was talking about earlier, where you see Jennifer Lopez's character doing her pole dance and Constance Wu's character sees her for the first time and realizes that she can use Jennifer Lopez's character, she can use Ramona to get what she wants. And it's a slow pan in on Dorothy while it cuts to different shots and different angles of Ramona dancing, and then it cuts back to a slow pan in on Constance Wu. I keep switching the actor and the character's name, whatever. Some more things, because this is going on and on. I have just a lot to talk about because There's a lot more Martin Scorsese stuff. I don't even know if I can get through this whole list. I wrote down literally every single Goodfellas reference I found. It's in my notes, and if you want to see it, maybe I'll put it up for all patrons this time. I am going to put it up for all $10 plus patrons, which is my normal notes and scripts. If you do want to see it, let me know. I'll put it up. It'll be for all patrons, dollar plus whatever. But there are so many, and one that really stood out to me is their use of music. Martin Scorsese, and I mean, it's true for a lot of films that are made in period pieces, but Martin Scorsese likes to use very popular music at the time that the movie is set. He used a lot of 70s and 80s music in Goodfellas.
I like going this way. It's better than waiting in line. How you doing? Good, good. What's up? There you go.
In Hustlers, they did the exact same thing. They used a lot of mid to late 2000s and then 2010s music. I mean, there was even a scene with Usher. They played in the club. Usher looked exactly like 2000 and what was that, 2006, 7 Usher? Was I in middle school or high school when that movie came out? Well, either way, I would have been in high school. Anyways, they had Usher. He looked like that era of Usher, like mid-2000s Usher. They played in the club. I loved their use of music in this. And one last thing before I get to my score and my rewatch score, and this goes along with their use of music, I really liked the audio production in this, the audio design. Depending on the situation, the recording device, it changes the audio and the perspective of the audio. It's really cool. Throughout most of it, it is recorded, or it is normal. It sounds normal because it's playing through the recorder and it's switching back and forth between, well, you're not even hearing it out of the recorder. You're hearing Constance Wu telling the story and it's going into the recorder, but you don't necessarily hear it from the recorder. But later on, when she calls Julia Stiles' character, you hear her through the telephone and it sounds like it's coming through a telephone. And there's even a scene where everything is recorded through a lapel mic under a shirt. You hear the microphone wrestling up against the shirt and you hear everything through that muffled barrier of the t-shirt, and anybody else who does not have that microphone on, it sounds a little even more muted and hard to hear. So great. The sound design on this is just top notch. But I think that's about it. That's probably all I can talk about because there's a lot. I could go into so many more Scorsese, Goodfellas examples, but I won't. I will hold off. But like, score on this, it would be like a 3.5 maybe. It's not like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's like a perfect movie, but it's a great movie, and I was very surprised. I did not expect this to go over like a 2 or a 3 for me. I think 3 would have been pushing it. I did not think it would be as good as it was. So I'm really, really happy about that. Rewatch score, I would probably say Redbox. I will maybe add this to my collection in the future, but I don't think it's like that top notch for me. I don't know how many times I will rewatch this enough to purchase it, but I would probably get it, like rent it on Redbox or something to watch it again. But let me know what you thought of Hustlers in the comments down below. Are there any other movies that kind of surprised you, or even a movie that you really, really loved just because it made a lot of great homages and references to a movie that you already really liked? But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate you, whoever you are, and let me know here in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I have talking these movies, TV shows, filmmaking, mystery, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!